Today we're going to talk about whether or not you should make your own garage gym, and if so, which pieces of equipment are essential to that.
And stay tuned because there's one piece of equipment that is a must-have that most people don't think about.
We're Forged by Fryer. We help CrossFit athletes reach their potential inside and outside the gym.
So there's two different philosophies on buying gym equipment. The first one is to supplement your gym time, and the second one is building your own gym.
If you want to be competitive, I think you have to get your own equipment. The reason is because the CrossFit gym in general is built for group fitness, and most of the time if you're going to try to be competitive, you're either doing your own programming for your weaknesses or you're doing a completely different program altogether, which then tends to push you to the perimeters of the CrossFit gym, because the CrossFit gym is made for group fitness and those there. So we always say you gotta have your own stuff for your own space in order to get competitive. And we got a new punishment in the Forge. If you don't hit your lift, you get put in the box.
Here's philosophy number one. This is to supplement your time at the CrossFit gym. These are some key things that we think that you need to do that.
So my pick for accessory equipment, I would say a weight vest and a sled. The reason is I think these two things of anything build a lot of work capacity. If I were just to get one thing, it would be these two things.
Okay, well this is awkward because this one is under all of this crap from our garage with our awesome couch and our gymnastic stuff, but jerk blocks and pulling blocks, you can get one or the other. Jerk blocks would be my number one thing. Pulling blocks are also so nice.
I want to say the reason why the blocks are so good is because it helps you get more reps without doing as much work, and they've been key to helping my technique improve. Okay, so my second pick is the Assault Runner. Now I kind of have to pick this as my second pick because I pushed really hard for us to buy this thing. But I really love this. It goes back to work capacity. Running on this thing, it's like 25% harder than it is running on a normal track.
If you're competing, sometimes this will be in competitions, and you just have to practice with it because it feels really different.
And you also become very popular. And anyone who competes in CrossFit's like, hey, can I come over and run on your runner? You're like, sure. All right, Sarah, so if I'm working out at the gym and I've already got a CrossFit pass, what piece of equipment should I buy?
The key thing that you may not think about that I think is really good to get is the GHD. Our lower body muscles from the floor, and we want to transfer that energy up. And so getting that low back strength is actually key. There's a lot of research to show that having low back strength and core strength is going to make it so that you can transfer that energy through the kinetic chain and lift more weight. And if your gym has one, then use it. Otherwise, it's definitely worth the buy.
If you're going to do the supplemental stuff where you're trying to work out at home, we have our two picks. Mine is the weight vest, sled, and runner, which are my three.
Mine is the GHD, the one you might not think of, but it's super crucial, and the blocks, which is kind of three too, because there's pulling blocks and jerk blocks.
We both cheated.
Cheated!
As you can see, we've got a rough setup here. We wanted to show what the typical garage would look like. No, I'm just kidding. It's just that we're moving in and we're trying to figure out our space, which we think applies to a lot of you. So what we're gonna do today is we're gonna talk about how you can set it up, what's the ideal gym, and go over what pieces of equipment do we think are essential. So we're coming from a 2-car garage with about 250 square feet. That is actually, I think, the ideal size for a gym. Is a 2-car garage, like usually 25 by 25 is your average 2-car garage. That is the ideal space for a 2-person individual CrossFit gym. Key to being competitive is having the right tools. And there's equipment in specific domains that I think you need. So you need something to build your cardio, you need something to build your METCONs, your strengths, your skills. We'll go over all these things and the individual pieces of equipment that you need in each space. Foundation to your success in CrossFit or weightlifting is your floor. So we go with 3/4 inch stall mats.
These mats don't have to be weightlifting specific mats. We thought that at first, but you can just get them at the farm store.
Stall mats. We go with the 3/4 inch. We like to lift with denser Olympic plates so they don't bounce as much. You can go with a thinner mat, like you go with the 1/2 inch mat. That's a little bit cheaper if you get the bouncier weights, but that's kind of what determines whether the weights that you use determines how thick you should go on the floor. Part of having a good space for a CrossFit gym is having a lifting platform for us. We're really into lifting. The reason why you want to have a platform is that you have a hard base to press off of with your lifting shoes. It's also why the lifting shoes are hard on the bottom, because you want something firm to press off of. So this is a birch sheet of plywood. Now it's $50 for this piece of plywood. And you can see it gets messy and dented and messed up, but I really like this plywood for it. We didn't stain it, we didn't do anything. It's just a 3/4 inch piece of plywood, and that matches the thickness of our mats.
It makes the floor flush because you're going to be doing a lot of other stuff. You're limited on space in a garage gym, so you can use all this space still. It's not just for lifting platforms.
Part and parcel to every CrossFit gym is building your aerobic base. Now there's 2 machines that I love for building your aerobic base, and me and Sarah are gonna fight about which one is the best one.
So my choice is the rower because it's light, you can move it out of the way for your garage gym, and honestly I hate the bike, probably because it works you really well.
And my choice for aerobic base is definitely the bike. The bike, you can do aerobic base, so long and slow distances, and then you can also just crush your soul and do sprint type things. So in terms of what I would choose for aerobic base, it's the bike. We did a quick review of the Rogue Echo bike, and we did a little bit of a test that nobody else did about blowing someone's skirt up. I don't know whose, but check that review out, you'll love it. In CrossFit, everyone knows we have your basic METCONs, and so for the METCONs, there's 3 things that I think you have to have for any type of METCON. You gotta have a box, you gotta have wall balls. So I'd go with a 20 and a 14 for your wall ball. And then you got your kettlebells. I would go with a 53, 2 of the 53s, and 2 of the 35s. The reason is there's a lot of exercises where you're gonna be doing like a front rack lunge with kettlebells, and so it's super helpful to have 2 of the same size. Pretty much every METCON in CrossFit is gonna weave in either a wall ball, a box jump, a kettlebell swing with your rower, with a barbell type workout. So having these 3 things will usually cover most of those types of things. We're gonna talk about strength. What equipment is essential for strength? We're gonna talk about squat racks, we're gonna talk about barbells, bumper plates, change plates, all the works. A key piece and like a crucial part of everything is having a squat rack. We actually converted this from a standalone unit that you could move around, and I bought these extra arms and made it into more of a rig so that we could have more pull-up area.
And super solid.
Yeah, it's super solid.
So a cheaper version, and that will save you some space. It's a little standalone rack. You can move it around easily. It's a lot cheaper. And
here's a picture of it right here. But I hate them. I do not recommend them. Do not get those.
But it's a good option. He doesn't like it, but it totally works.
You can't forget about under strength pull-ups. You can get the racks that Sarah was talking about, the little ones that I hate, but the nice thing about these Rogue ones is they have a pull-up bar attached. You need to have a pull-up rig system. Let's talk about everyone's favorite thing, the barbell. If you're just gonna get one barbell, the Rogue Ohio bar is your best bet. It's a pretty good bar, and I did a review between the Rogue Ohio bar, the Olympic lifting bar, and then a PR lifting bar, which is a company out here in the Pacific Northwest. But if I were to get just one bar, it'd be the Rogue Ohio bar. If I was gonna get an Oli specific bar, I really like Rogue's Olympic lifting barbells. They're really nice. With CrossFit, we do a lot of dumbbell work. They've done a lot of cleans with dumbbells and different things, and then like dumbbell snatches. And so what we do, instead of buying a whole rack of dumbbells, what we've done is we've bought these loadable dumbbells. I love these things. They're one of my favorite things. There's so many pieces of strength elements that you need, and these help with.
So let's talk change plates for the barbell, and you can use these for the little dumbbells. These to me are essential because with weightlifting, we're always making incremental gains. We want to test our maxes. We also have very specific percentages if you're at this level where you need to be lifting. So these are awesome to have. We have a couple sets of the 10s and 5s. That's been super helpful. These are not as necessary, these very small ones, but I like to have them a lot, especially if you're working at percentages. And the 2.5s for sure.
I spent a lot of time finding bumper plates that were not too dense that they were going to damage my floor, but that didn't bounce too much after I dropped them. And so these Vulcan plates are by far my favorite, plus they just look cool on Instagram. So we have basically 2 sets of 45s, 1 set of 55s, a set of 35s, a set of 25s, and a set of 15s.
I think it depends on who you are, your weight class, and stuff like that. So we need another set of 55s because he lifts pretty heavy. For me, I would never need that. Maybe one day. But basics, you can kind of count where your maxes are and go from there.
Let's talk about skills. The majority of the things that we do that are related to skills with CrossFit that require equipment are basically 2 things: rope climbs and rings for muscle ups. One of the hardest things about a rope is you gotta have like 15 feet or 12 feet high place, 12 foot high place to put the rope. So for us, we're just gonna use a tree, but in the past we haven't had a tree, and so we had to kind of figure out what we were gonna do. So one of the things that you can do if you don't have a tall place to put a rope is you can do 2 things. Either you can start in an L-sit and climb up a shorter version of the rope. That's really tough and challenging. Or the other thing you can do is start laying down and then pull your upper body up the rope. That's another way to get a rope climb workout in if you don't have a tall space for it. To recap, here is what you need for your own gym. Rower, bike, squat rack, pull-up, barbell, plates, box, balls, kettlebells, change plates.
Dumbbells.
Is that it? I think that's it.
Boom.
Bonus round. Things I would love: a fan, a belt, Viking chalk.
Lifting shoes, clips, these bands. My favorite things I keep in my bag are thumb tape and these grips. We got this heavy rope, chain belts we can hang stuff down, squat, and of course, knee sleeves. Is that it? Got it all?
That's it. That's a wrap. Bonus round over.